Hello guys, this is Adit. Welcome to my channel Movement Science where I simplify biomechanics with Joe. So if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. Also check me out on Instagram where I post pictures of my notes and also put out some daily MCQs. The reference tab for all the topics that I am going to cover will be mentioned down in the description, so check that out and let's get started. In this video, we are going to learn about the postural deviations. So last video we have covered what is normal. So in this video we will see what is abnormal, right? And again we'll go from the bottom to top. So first, starting with the foot and toe, the two main deformities that we see over here are the hammer toe and the claw toe. Again, I'm not going to cover all the deformities but the major ones. So first is the hammer toe. In hammer toe, what happens is your metatarsophalangeal joint goes for hyperextension, your proximal interphalangeal joint goes for flexion, and then the distal interphalangeal joint goes for extension again. Okay, so if you look at my hand as a foot, basically this will be your metatarsal, right? Over here it is metacarpal, so it will be in extension, okay, metatarsophalangeal. Then at the PIP joint there will be flexion, okay, and then a DIP extension. So this is how your foot is going to look like on the ground. This is the ground and this is how your foot will be looking. Apart from this, what we are going to learn is we'll see where is the excessive pressure points present, where will be the callus formed, and what are the causes of this condition or the deviation. So first, the callosities are seen at the PIP superiorly, okay. So if this is your foot, PIP is over here, right, proximal interphalangeal joint. So over here on top there will be callosities that will be seen, and also at the distal tip of the phalanx over here, right, because there is excessive pressure, you can see, between the tips and the ground. So that's where the callosities will be formed. And the flexor tendons that you will be seeing, which will be passing below, right, always the flexor tendon passes from the below, right, of the foot. So they will be stretched at the MCP joint because see, there is excessive extension happening, right? So if the tendon is going from here, it will be stretched at this joint, whereas here flexion is happening, so it will be compressed or contracted in this region. So it is stretched at the MTP joint and shortened at the PIP joint. Next is the cause. Now, why do we see these kind of deformities? This can happen due to long and short toe extensor, or the extensors of the toe, the long and the short, along with the lumbricals which are present between your bones, right, interossei. These muscles can get paralyzed, and because of this, this kind of deformity can be seen. Whereas the second one that we see is the claw toe. Now, claw toe is very similar to the hammer toe. Only difference will be at the DIP joint, there won't be any hyperextension, there will be flexion. So again, your MTP joint goes for extension, and then there is flexion at PIP and DIP joint. So basically this is the claw, right, of the tiger. So that's what is seen in claw toe deformity. And what will this cause? If you can see, this is your normal foot, right, and claw toe is your this, like this. So the base of support, which was over here like this, will be reduced, which will increase your postural sway. Because your support is reduced, your sway will be increased and the stability will be reduced. There will be MTP hyperextension, as we saw over here and here, same, and then PIP and DIP over here, both of them will go for flexion this time. Depending on the position, now you can maybe guess where the callositis will be formed, where the callus will be formed. If you see it from the sideways, you can see that first will be over here because it is having excessive pressure, and the second one over here, right, because there is excessive pressure coming right from the top on the ground, right. So over here the callus, and over here the callus will be formed. So that I have mentioned here, callus formation will be under the MTP heads and the dorsal region of the distal phalanx. There are also high chances of proximal phalanx, that is this one, that can get subluxated or dislocated in the superior direction. The causes of this can be restrictive footwear. If your footwear is normal, your fingers will be having nice space, but if it's restrictive, your fingers have to be curled in, so that can be one of the reasons. or neuromuscular disorders which will affect the small intrinsic muscles of your foot, which will make them weak and cause a claw toe deformity. So till now we have seen hammer toe and claw toe in the foot. Let's move ahead. Let's go higher up. In the knee, what can be seen? Either the line of gravity can be going anteriorly or posteriorly, right? So if it goes to anteriorly, there will be hyperextension of the knee, and if it goes to posteriorly, there can be flexion of the knee. So first we'll have a look what happens if the line of gravity goes anteriorly. Now this is the normal knee, right? But if your knee goes for hyperextension, the line of gravity will be going anteriorly and all the load will come on the posterior capsule. Now this, with all the load on the capsule and the ligaments, what will happen is the capsule will start adaptively lengthening, and because of this lengthening of the capsule, which was providing the stability to the knee joint, will be lost, and it will reduce the stability in the knee joint. This mostly occurs in condition where there is limited dorsiflexion at the knee, correct? See, if you were standing like this normally, it wouldn't be a problem. But if your dorsiflexion range is limited, that means your foot is fixed in plantar flexion, what will happen? Just imagine, like this. You can't stand like this, right? Because just because your ankle is in plantar flexion, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to stand like this. You will fall behind. So your body will start compensating and will start coming ahead. And at one point, your knee has to compensate, right? At one point, your knee has to compensate and create that extension, which is not possible at the ankle joint, right? So because your ankle joint is fixed in plantar flexion, your knee has to go into hyperextension and create that range for you to stand up. So that can be the reason for an hyperextended knee, also called as the genu recurvatum. So this happens when the line of gravity goes anteriorly. Now, what happens if it goes posteriorly? The flex knee posture. Now this you can directly try on yourself. Just bend your knees and walk for a few meters. You will directly see that the quadriceps is acting a lot and it is going for fatigue, right? So it's just not efficient position. If it goes posteriorly, you can see that the knee will go for flexion, correct? And now this, what it will do is it will increase the stresses on your quadriceps muscle, because whole gravity will be pulling you in this position, right? In more flexed position from here to here. But your quadriceps, which are your knee extensors, have to fire up and prevent that excessive flexion movement that is occurring, correct? And this can be only done by your quadriceps. And as you know, if quadriceps are working over here, quadriceps will be pulling your patella in this direction, and the patella is also connected to the tibia over here, and the final resultant force will be going inward. That will be the compressive forces on the knee joint will also increase a lot. So that's what I mentioned over here. The line of gravity goes posterior to the knee, so quadriceps activity is needed to maintain that position, and during this position there is high compressive stresses on the knee, as well as the quadriceps will go for fatigue. Apart from this, if you can see, you can't just walk like this, correct? Your body will again compensate at the hip and it will bend forward so that the line of gravity stays in line. But still, if you can see, it is ahead of the hip joint, which will create a lot of flexion torque, meaning your body will be pulled by the gravity anteriorly. And to prevent this, your all hip extensor muscles will be acting to keep you in the right position. So again, your hip extensors will be firing up, which will create low back pain. Here quadriceps is firing up to prevent you from going down, correct? And also at the ankle joint, what you can see is it is in dorsiflexion position and you will be walking, so you will be causing plantar flexion, correct? Plantar flexion from a position where knee is also flexed. So this will put a lot of load on your soleus muscle. So overall, it's not an efficient position at all, because of the line of gravity going too anteriorly and too posteriorly at each joint. So this is why it is a deviation and not a normal situation. So that's all we have for the lower limb. If you have noticed, what we have done over here is just taken our previous knowledge of where the line of gravity is falling. Over here it is too anteriorly, so the posterior structures are working, like the capsule over here you can see is getting stretched, right? And when it goes posteriorly, all the anterior muscles at the knee were functioning, which was creating fatigue, right? Which is not an efficient position at all, and that's why it is called as the deviation. Okay, now let's summarize the topic. What did we see? We saw postural deviations in the lateral view. There was hammer toe and the claw toe. Hammer toe was basically like this and claw toe was like this, correct? After that we saw hyper extended knee, and then when the knee is slightly flexed, what was the difference? In the slightly flexed knee, the line of gravity was posterior, correct? And then in the extended or hyper extended knee, it was anterior. And these were the deviations which was causing excessive stress in certain regions of your body. It was just not optimal. And that is why it was called the deviation and not the normal posture. If you like my video, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also like the video, as it really helps me out. Also let me know in the comment section what other videos you would like me to cover. And see you soon in the next video.